Hello, good evening. Welcome to Signature Evening, your cool zone, the platform that helps you to calm your nerves. And in the process of being entertained, you still have to, know what happened during the day, politic-wise and of course, social media-wise as well, in the world of fashion, entertainment, and what have you. My name is Christopher Lele. And of course, I have the beautiful Lillian here with me.
All right, good evening, Christopher, and good evening. This is Signature Evening. Now, on the highlights of today's program, we're seeing in the news, and that's local and foreign highlights on Nigeria's call for diplomatic solution to Trump's threat over alleged genocide.
And then we have Governor Mbah decries state of security training institutions in the country. We also have the CDD West Africa commends INEC performance, urges sweeping reforms.
And UK Council loses bid to remove asylum seekers from hotel at center of protest. And beyond that, we're going to be having interviews with our correspondent from Orchard in the person of Florence Mimo. And after that, we'll be bringing you a book launch and interview from Abuja.
And for those that love fashion, you want to know what's trending in the fashion world, just stay around for the Fashionista, where you get to know different modelings and of course outfit that you like to showcase and have a nice time.
And don't forget about what's up, what's trending, and what is buzzing on the social media platforms on the internet. We're bringing you Wike versus the Army and the 10K laptop project for 10,000 Nigerian youth. And what is your wish before December, according to Tunde Edna?
And one of the favorite parts of the program that you just don't want to miss is the People's Forum, where you can call in and share your thoughts on all the different questions and opinion that we shall be sharing with you on the platform. The phone number will be displayed on the screen for you to call in and of course be part of the program. All you have to do is just save the number for the right time for you to call in and share your thoughts. Yesterday was a bomb, and trust me, tonight you just don't want to miss it. So we'll go straight into it.
Yes. It's time for In the News.
This is the In the News segment. Nigerians have continued to react to the threat by the United States president over the alleged widespread genocide against Christians in Nigeria. Some of those who spoke on the issue suggested a diplomatic solution rather than throwing tantrums on the U.S. strongman. Our correspondent has been following up on the issue and the accompanying controversy. In early November 2025, President Donald Trump of the United States made a public statement concerning his perception of religious violence in Nigeria. He accused the Nigerian government of permitting a campaign of persecution against Christians and warned that the U.S. would immediately stop all aid and assistance and might go in guns a-blazing to eliminate what he described as Islamic terrorists committing mass killings of Christians.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
He went ahead to say that the U.S. Department of Defense had been instructed to prepare for possible action in Nigeria. The Nigerian government rejected the characterization of state-backed Christian genocide. In a statement, President Bola Tinubu emphasized that Nigeria is a democracy with constitutional protections for freedom of religion, and that portraying it as religiously intolerant did not reflect reality.
We are engaging the world diplomatically, and we assure all of you that we will, defeat terrorism in this country. The task ahead is immense, but it's our resolve to move forward with unity and purpose, guided by renewed hope agenda to build a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Nigeria.
While some people agree with Trump that the claim is real, others pointed out that the violence in Nigeria is multi-layered, rooted not solely in faith, but also in ethnic conflict, land/herder disputes, banditry, and weak state capacity. They warned that framing it purely as a religious genocide oversimplifies the situation. The situation took a dramatic exchange between the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and his deputy Barrow Jibrin, who asked Akpabio if he was afraid of the US president.
You are not hearing what I'm saying. I'm saying this time, the Senate President of Nigeria did not answer President Trump. And then that the quotation is meant to cause diplomatic row. It is the presidency that will answer President Trump. It's only then that the Senate President can make a comment. Not somebody sitting in his bedroom to talk nonsense.
Mr. President, Nigeria is a sovereign nation.
In this case, I did not say my mind.
I'm coming. Don't be scared. I can say.
I said
I'm not scared of Trump.
How can the Senate President of a country be scared?
I'm a Nigerian. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. I'm a parliamentarian. I'm a deputy president. I can speak on behalf of Nigeria. I'm not scared of Trump.
But do not allow others to speak for you.
Don't be scared of Trump.
Get
you
something.
Can say your mind about Trump.
Get something.
We are a sovereign nation.
But get something. Don't allow people to ascribe what you did not say to you.
Did you wrong, but you didn't say it? That's correct. You didn't say it.
Yes.
But what
I'm saying is that
you shouldn't be scared of saying anything.
No.
A security expert and global affairs analyst, Jackson Lekon Ojo, who lent his voice to the debate, noted that the killings affect all religions, blaming Nigerian leaders whom he said have lost values for human lives. Ojo, however, stated that Trump did not actually threaten Nigeria, but rather advised that the killings should be stopped, or he will be left with no option than to protect the lives of Christians in Nigeria by fishing out the hoodlums.
Mr. President Trump said enough is enough for the genocidal attack of Christians in Nigeria, and he advised that he implored the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to improve in their security approach to stop all this genocide against the Christians. Me, Jackson Lekon Ojo, I think I disagreed. I don't believe there was a calculated genocide against the Christians. The thousands of people that died in Zamfara State, almost 90% of them are Muslims.
Ojo advised the presidency and Nigeria to go about the perceived threat from US President diplomatically rather than throwing tantrums, warning that Trump is not somebody to be threatened.
It is just for us to prove that what we are talking is an information. That information may not be correct. It could be a misinformation. I think that is what the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should do. It's not to begin to issue counter threat and others.
National President of the South-South Youth Initiative, Comrade Xavier Oscar, agreed with Trump that Christians were being killed in Nigeria. He called on US President to intervene in liberating the nation from what he referred to as ongoing dictatorship and hijack of security agencies by the rich, leaving the masses to live at the mercy of the privileged few.
I think what Nigeria should be doing right now is that if the US president have decided to look into the case of Nigerians, then I'm quite sure that the Nigerians are happy about it. Why Nigerians are happy about it is very simple. Mr. President, like I said earlier, do not and have refused to prioritize the protection of lives and property in this country. Just recently, our security agencies were dying in the arms of Boko Haram. I can recall vividly how many army or soldiers were killed by Boko Haram. I can recall how many police officers were killed by Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen. What has Mr. President done about it? Recently, if not a few months ago, I also watched on the news how many soldiers were crying in the desert when they were being faced by Fulani herdsmen, and they were crying for the loss of their family. Just recently, we know how many soldiers that was buried, that was given a mass burial because of the level of insecurity that we faced recently by the Fulani herdsmen.
Convener of the Rivers Peace Initiative, Obinna Ibogidi, also refuted the claim that the killings were targeted at the Christian fold, saying it is a collective and common problem affecting all religions. Ibogidi, however, believes that the Trump genocide threat will help to reawaken Nigeria's security architecture. The ongoing controversy underscores the urgent need to strengthen internal governance, protect all citizens equitably, and engage in clear communication about the nature of the country's security challenges. In the end, building peace and security in Nigeria will depend much more on sustained cooperation and domestic reform than on sudden external military fixes.
The commandment of the Police Detectives College, Enugu, Rosemary Collins, has described the setting up of the Committee on the Revamp of Training Institutions for Security Agencies across the country as a morale booster to men and women in uniform. Collins stated this during an on-the-spot assessment of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC training facility at Achi in Oji River local government area and the Nigeria Police Detectives College in Enugu. She said the establishment of the Pitamba-led committee is a demonstration of President Tinubu's genuine concern for the welfare of security personnel, which has rekindled their hope and resolve to serve the nation with renewed passion and dedication. Governor Mba explained that President Tinubu's decision to revamp and modernize the security training facilities was born out of his desire to strengthen Nigeria's security architecture and give officers better training and conditions of service. Governor Mba decried the deplorable condition of some of the facilities, describing them as unfit for training men and women who are charged with the task of protecting lives and property.
So we have gone to a number of training institutions. Today we are at the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Training Center at this is Oji River in Enugu State. What we have seen here is disturbing, and this is essentially what the president also saw and felt that this is not acceptable. We cannot have men and women who are meant to protect our communities train in this sort of environment. So we need to ensure that the entire training institutions in the country it's renovated, refurbished, reconstructed, re-equipped to ensure that it also meets the trainings that our Civil Defense Corps require for the 21st century policing.
Okay, sir, how soon are we?
Various stakeholders and observer groups have continued to make their reports known in the November 8th governorship election in Anambra State. Among the groups is the Center for Democracy and Development, CDDC West Africa, which commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for its performance while calling for reforms. Correspondent Lawrence Wimo reports.
In a post-election briefing in Oka, CDD West Africa acknowledged INEC's achievements, including the PVC collection rate, result upload on the IREF, and a generally peaceful voting environment. In the report, signed by Director of CDD West Africa, Daudu Garoba, and Chair, Election Analysis Center, Professor Victor Adetula, the group said despite the successes, the governorship election was marred by challenges. They identified the late arrival of officials, poor mobilization of voters, absence of issue-based campaigns, and absence of security personnel in some polling units.
I think, like you rightly said, that you are losing on both sides. One, in a system that is not delivering benefit to the people, and on the other side, also a system that an economy that is also losing what would have been gained that day. So if we live in a government or a system that delivers the benefits of voting, that deliver good governance to the people, even when somebody is stretching his hand to give you 30,000 naira, 100 naira for your vote, you will also say it is not worth it, I cannot collect it.
The group also noted that vote buying was openly practiced in several local government areas in the full glare of security personnel, with party agents offering cash and deploying digital transfer methods to influence voters. According to them, voter turnout remained low at 21%, an improvement from 10% recorded in 2021, but reflective of deep disengagement, particularly among youths and marginalized groups. They also said women and persons with disabilities faced accessibility barriers and a lack of voting aid materials.
On one hand is the supply side, which is the government that is shutting down the economy for people to vote. On the other hand is also citizens and our interpretation of elections and behaviors around elections. Perhaps it's also because we are unable to be trusted around our behaviors on election days. The fear of violence could be the reason why the economy is shutting down. And I liken that to days of sanitation in our states.
CDD West Africa also flagged the role of disinformation, with 54% of tracked claims about the election deemed false and often targeting INEC, security agencies, and candidates to manipulate public perception.
INEC's operational capacity through timely funding, decentralized planning, and consistent communication. Such operational issues include logistics, mandatory real-time results publication via IREV, early voting for essential personnel, and adequate personnel training.
To address these issues, CDD West Africa urged election stakeholders to prioritize reforms ahead of the 2026 off-cycle and 2027 general election to strengthen Nigeria's electoral system. They recommended improved operational capacity via timely funding, decentralized planning, real-time result upload, and early voting for essential personnel. They also urged stakeholders to prioritize voter education, issue-based campaigns, internal democracy, and transparent financing. The group advocated for sustainable year-round security, tackling vote trading via good governance and civic education, and collaboration between media, CSOs, security, and INEC to counter disinformation and improve communication. From Oka, Lawrence Nwemo, Signature TV News.
A British local authority on Tuesday lost its bid to have asylum seekers removed from a hotel after a resident was charged with sexual assault, an incident which sparked months-long anti-immigration protest. Epping Forest District Council took legal action to try to stop asylum seekers being housed in the Bell Hotel in Epping, in the county of Essex, about 20 miles north of London. The council had sought an injunction from London's High Court on the grounds that the hotel's owner did not have planning permission to use it to accommodate asylum seekers. But the injunction application was opposed by Britain's Home Office, which argued that removing asylum seekers could have a substantial impact on the government's ability to comply with its legal duty to provide accommodation. Judge Tim Mould said in the summary of his ruling that the current use of the Bell Hotel requires planning permission and is therefore in breach of planning control. But the judge refused to grant an injunction, saying in particular that the continuing need to source contingency accommodation for asylum seekers from hotels carries significant weight. The Bell Hotel became the focus of protest after the arrest of an Ethiopian asylum seeker in July for sexually assaulting a teenage girl and a woman, who was subsequently convicted and sentenced to 12 months in jail. The protests at the Bell Hotel, some of which were violent and have led to criminal convictions for disorder, took place against a backdrop of rising concern over immigration. And this is where we go for a short break to come back with the interview that we have at hand. Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.